What's up guys, it's Ivan, and on this channel I provide tips, tricks, advice, and strategies for your graduate school applications. So if you are new here, consider subscribing. In today's video, I'm going to share with you 10 questions that you should be asking current graduate students at the program that you plan to attend in the fall. One of the most important questions to ask current graduate students is, where do most students live? If you are traveling from out of state and moving to a new state, or if you're an international student, even if you're within the state actually, if you are traveling more than a couple of miles to a new institution, a new city, you want to know what are your options for housing. My personal opinion, the best choice of living is going to be through the graduate housing opportunities. So currently I live in graduate housing, which means that I was guaranteed a spot on an on-campus apartment complex. At UC San Diego, we do have multiple communities that you can apply to obviously live. Currently, I share a two-bedroom apartment with another UCSD graduate student. It was a random student that I was placed with, and we share a two-bedroom apartment with a kitchen, a living room, and as well as obviously a bathroom, right, and a shower. And so all of that encompasses graduate housing. And the reason why I chose to live in graduate housing was because it's really convenient and it's also affordable. So right now I pay $690 for the room that I share with my roommate. That's an affordable option for myself, but obviously I do have to have a roommate, so that's something that you have to consider. There's other options too. You can rent a studio, and you can also rent a one-bedroom apartment. If you're coming to graduate school with a family or a partner, you can definitely also rent family housing options. You should be looking at those options on the graduate housing opportunities webpage of your school that you plan to attend. They will give you more information on layouts as well as possibly prices, and if they don't offer that information on their website, you can always contact graduate housing at your institution. You also want to ask current students the following question: can you make ends meet with your stipend? This is very important. I'm going to say important for pretty much every question, just FYI. But you want to make sure that you are going to be able to afford not just living, but also your tuition costs and other fees that are associated with graduate education. And obviously, most programs do offer stipends, whether it's an automatic stipend for the duration of your program, or like myself, I have to work 20 hours per week to get my living stipend, as well as tuition remission. So you want to make sure you ask current graduate students, can you live off of the stipend that you are receiving? That way you get a glimpse of what it would be like to be a graduate student here, but also so that you know if you have to take out loans, or maybe work the summer before, or maybe use your life savings to be able to afford graduate school. In my case, we are offered at least $21,000 for 9 months in order to be able to afford our living, right? And so for me, I'm able to live off of that. And that is, I want to caveat that because I am able to afford that because I do have savings from my previous job, so I don't have to worry too much about having enough money to pay for my rent or having enough money to pay for my food, because I can always fall back on my savings account if I need to. So far, I haven't really had to touch my savings account because my living stipend through graduate school is enough to get me through barely. But I do have the privilege of having that savings account to fall back on. So you want to make sure you ask these questions to multiple people. That way you kind of get a glimpse and like a landscape of what people are doing to either supplement their stipend, or if their stipend's enough to live at whatever program and city you are planning to attend. You also want to ask graduate students, do people socialize within a department? And if so, how? This is important because you want to just kind of get a sense of what the vibe's going to be like once you attend graduate school at that program. So socializing beyond the classroom is important, and that should be important for everyone, not just myself. I think it's important because you want to make sure that you have support, right? So the only way to gain support is by meeting people and expanding your network. And the way you do that is if your department is social. And so do they provide social activities? Is there opportunities to socialize within the department? So for example, right now I'm actually filming filming this video in my office, and outside of this office that I share with two other colleagues of mine, you can, lounge around in the kitchen that we have. There's also other spaces where you can study and then just kind of interact with other people in the program. And so that provides us with space to interact with other people, not just in my cohort, but in different cohorts. There's also different places on campus or in this building where I'm able to kind of socialize with other members of the Education Studies department here at UC San Diego. And so you want to ask current graduate students, how do you socialize within a department, and does the department provide opportunity to socialize and meet others, not just in your cohort, but beyond your cohorts? You also want to ask current graduate students, what do you do for fun outside of academia? And I wanted to include this question in particular because it's important for you to find some hobbies or something that makes you happy beyond academia. Academics do put a stress on you because it's very rigorous, right? You're going to be reading and writing and going to classes and conducting research and then obviously doing your jobs. And that's a lot for one person to handle. So you want to make sure that you understand what are the opportunities beyond academia that you can be involved in, or maybe that you could potentially get into. For example, what I do is I try to go to the beach at least once per week. That way I'm not just focused on academics and academia consuming my life. So I met a group of beach volleyball players because I'm interested in volleyball, and I meet with them on Sunday mornings and I play for at least 4 hours, socialize with them. Obviously, I also play beach volleyball, get my cardio in, but I intentionally chose to do this because I wanted to make sure that I not only had friends outside of, academia, but also found a space where I was able to socialize, have fun, something that interests me, that was out in the community and not just in, the walls of the institution or the program. And so personally, I made it a goal for myself to go to the beach at least once per week. And then I also like to explore San Diego. So I made it a goal to explore San Diego on the weekends when I had more flexibility with time. But I want to make sure that you understand that you need to prioritize your mental health as well as self-care. And the way to do this is by finding hobbies, by finding opportunities outside of academia that make you happy, and pursue those and incorporate those into your schedule when you are a graduate student. The next question that I think you should be asking current graduate students is, do the faculty get along? And this is an interesting question to ask, right? And it kind of goes with the culture of the program and the department. Do the faculty get along? Do they collaborate with each other? Do they like each other? This is important because you want to go to a program that doesn't have a lot of political stressors, right, on you. So, are faculty members getting along? Do they promote diversity, inclusion, and equity? And how do they do that amongst all students, not just a certain population of students? And you want to know if the faculty get along because it's going to show you if there is a good vibe within the department, if the department's going to provide you with those opportunities to grow as a scholar, but also to feel safe in your department. And if faculty are not getting along, then it's gonna feel hostile when you are, walking through the department doors and going to classes. And you want to make sure you go to a program that has positive vibes, where the faculty members are collaborating on different projects and they're promoting equity through their practices and providing a safe, positive environment for you to be successful in your PhD program. Because again, a PhD program can get stressful, and you want to make sure you have that support, not just with faculty, but with peers and staff and administrators. And you want to make sure you feel comfortable when you are walking through the doors of your department or your institution. These next couple of questions are more geared towards your academic advisor and the faculty members who you want to work with. So you want to ask current students, what do you like the most and least about faculty member with whom you work with? It is important because you want to make sure that your advisor is going to be a good fit for your learning needs. So if you are someone that is more independent worker and you don't need hand-holding or you don't need so much support, then you want to make sure that your faculty advisor is going to be more hands-off, right? So you want that person to kind of give you the autonomy to do whatever you want, and then whenever you need support, you'll reach out. But if you're that type of person that needs someone to, answer your emails right away, or to communicate with you on a weekly basis, or to meet with you on a weekly or bi-weekly or monthly basis, and you need more support than most students, then you want to make sure that your faculty advisor is going to be able to support you in that way. And the way that you know that is by asking some of their current advisees how they work with them and how they schedule appointments, what those appointments look like, and how accessible is that faculty member. So you ask these current graduate students, these current advisees, about what they like the least and the most about their faculty advisor. That way you get a sense of what that faculty advisor could bring to you as a scholar, as a person, and as someone who wants to grow in the academic world. You also just want to ask, is this faculty member a good advisor? Usually current graduate students are going to be very upfront with prospective students or people who have just got admitted. They're going to, spill the tea, if you want to say that. They're going to tell you exactly how it is, and if the faculty member is actually supportive. I know if you reach out to me and you want to work with my faculty advisor in this department, in this program, I'm going to tell you the truth and how my experience has been. And so most graduate students, they will tell you the same. So you want to make sure you ask, is this a good faculty member to work under? If so, yet why and why not? You want to get that vibe. You want to make sure you understand exactly how that faculty member works and if they're going to be ideal for your learning needs and what you need to grow as a scholar and graduate student. So make sure you ask these questions and be detailed as possible. If you're interested in someone who is going to give you more like affirmations, for example, you want to make sure that you ask that, does this professor provide affirmations? Does this professor provide opportunities to work on research? Does this professor offer what is their style? Do they provide funding for their students? Do they provide advice that's not just academic focused? Does this person help you grow personally as a student? Does this person talk to you about things outside of academia, like your family, your hobbies? Are they supportive in those aspects too, not just academia? You want to ask all these questions to current advisees of your potential faculty advisor. The next question you might want to ask is, how is the morale among students within a department? So you want to ask this question because you want to make sure you understand if the students really like the department and if there's flaws or challenges that the department might be facing. And what are those challenges? That way you know when you come into the program what to expect. So for example, in my program, there has been a big challenge on, what courses are being offered, and I feel like a lot of the students in my program, they're feeling discouraged because we don't have that many course options. And so the only way to find out about these type of challenges is by asking current graduate students and asking them, like, what is the morale like? What are the challenges that the department is facing? What are some positive things about the department? That way they're able to open up to you and tell you exactly what those challenges are. Does the program, do students of color experience microaggressions within the program? Things along that nature you want to ask current graduate students. Along the lines of supporting students of color, you also want to ask, how does the department support students of color and students with multiple diverse identities? You want to ask this question because obviously you want to feel comfortable within your department. And if you're a student of color like I am, I'm Mexican, I'm first generation, I come from a low income background, I come from a rural community, all these identities shape who I am and how I learn and how I experience higher education. And sometimes I do need more support than the regular PhD student, right? And so you want to understand that when you face a certain challenge, could the institution, are there faculty, staff, people in your program, people in your department that are able to support you in terms of mitigating the challenge, right? And if there's not that much support for someone who has multiple identities like I do, then that program might not be a good fit because they're not going to be supporting all your identities and they're just going to be focused on, getting you through grad school, but just helping you get through the milestones without really helping you, if that even makes any sense. But you want to make sure that there's supports. Like for me, for example, like I have some peer support that I have. I also have my faculty advisor who's great in terms of these type of situations. I have my support network, and I'm glad that before I enrolled in this program, I reached out to some of the advisees of my advisor, and they were able to kind of give me some advice on how to navigate this program as a person of color. So if that's you, make sure you ask current advisees that maybe identify or has similar identities as you do and see how they navigated the space. Finally, you want to ask current graduate students, what is one thing you would change about the department/program you are in? And you want to ask this mostly because you want to see where the challenges are again, right? So what does the program struggle with? Like I mentioned earlier, my program struggles with course offerings for PhD students. My program also faces the challenge of really, I would say, supporting students of color. I would say that. And the reason why is because I have felt, especially because of this COVID situation, I have felt that I'm not really part of a PhD program in a sense. I've been doing a lot of things on Zoom, obviously, and I understand the protocols that we can't come to campus, but there should be some other programming that's involved for us as students where we're able to convene online, or even just small group activities on campus when we're able to do that. That way we feel more part of the program. And that's something that I would tell prospective students of this program to consider is how are they supported? Like how is the program supportive during this COVID situation? And so you don't feel isolated as a PhD student. And I feel like I feel isolated and not part of this program because there's not that much opportunities to engage with other scholars but beyond the classroom. All right, so that concludes my video on 10 questions you should be asking current graduate students before you enroll in a certain program or institution. Let me know if you have any questions down below in the comments or reach out to me on LinkedIn. Thank you for watching this video, and I will see you in the next video.